Mark. Welcome back to my channel again and again and again.
Yep. Thank you, Ems, for having me again. All right.
Back to back.
Yep. Part two.
Part two. So, guys, Mark and I, we went to the same school, Nova Scotia Community College. And yeah, I took business administration, accounting. What did you take again, Mark?
I took up occupational health and safety in IT campus, which is located in Halifax.
We're going to talk about the things or the reason for you not to move to Atlantic. This will be fun.
Yeah.
we
have a list. Yep.
Discourage them, but I think it's not this is not to discourage you guys,
Exactly.
but we're just gonna give you the real deal. If you're
real talk, we're here to do real talk.
Atlantic. The first reason not to move to Atlantic or specifically Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I mean, here is, Atlantic provinces are usually small provinces, right? So there's a higher competition because there's less job opportunities here, considering the province is small, right? Compared to big cities, bigger province, where there's a lot of jobs, but you might have problems, not problems, but challenges finding a right job, because there's a lot of competition. Because there's jobs here, but there's for example, for the OHS department, for OHS industry, they're looking for at least 3 to 5 years experience as a OHS person. So for me, as a fresh graduate, there's a demand job for OHS, but they need an experienced one. So that's one reason.
And also, like for OHS, I believe they only need one OHS per company. Like if it's a small company, they don't need 5 safety officers. It really depends on the industry. Okay, let's move on to this. It's my turn.
Okay.
So my second reason not to move to Atlantic or Nova Scotia, for me, if you're a city person and if you don't like living in a rural area, like in the place where I lived before in Kentville, Nova Scotia, you only have like a small pub. It's not like a huge one. Like you can't party or anything. Like you have to go to the city, which is Halifax, and also like the mall in Kentville is just pretty small. Like you cannot be lost or something. You can find your way out of the mall. Not like in Halifax, they have a pretty decent I think shopping malls, right?
Yeah, we have shopping malls, but it's it's limited to 3. Where I came from in the Philippines, in Manila.
The mall? What?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, in the Philippines, in Quezon City, you have a lot of malls there. Probably 8 malls in one city. But here, you just only have 3 options, right? Plus Costco and Walmart, right? So in IKEA.
Yes, IKEA.
Yep. So.
But I think, like, if you're going to compare other provinces in Atlantic, like Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PI, and Newfoundland, Labrador, Halifax is the center, right?
Yeah, we have, at least the big companies are, moving here in Halifax. So Halifax is, a developing city. So it will take, a lot of, probably 3 to 5 years to be like Toronto probably, or something like Vancouver, but it's a fast growing city here in Atlantic. So if you like this bigger cities, you cannot find that one here in the Atlantic. So
yeah, that's our number 2 reason. How about your number 3 reason not to move to Atlantic?
My number 3 would be because I'm a healthcare professional. If you don't have the patience to wait for medical services, like finding a physician or long wait for laboratories, I think Atlantic Canada is not for you, because that's my problem, right? I still don't have a family physician. I'm still looking for a family physician. Compare that one if if you move to BC or if you move to Toronto, you can have family physician right away. And there's a pathway for I mean for the Atlantic, they have a specific pathway for physician. So technically, there's a demand for physician here. They
Doctors.
really need doctors here, and we have medical facilities here, but it's not enough. So you have to wait for your schedule for a month to have an MRI, except for emergencies, right? You can get those services if you're having an emergency, but if it's a walk-in, you have to wait for months to book an MRI, for example. For an X-ray, probably a week. So it's not the same as big cities with bigger modern facilities there, right?
Like I remember I have a friend
Mm-hmm.
and her sister got diagnosed with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And before she found that out, like her mom had to drop her I think the appointment for the
Mm-hmm.
doctor
Mm-hmm.
so that the doctor could see her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you have to give up your appointment just to accommodate another patient. That's
Mm-hmm.
how they're fully booked here. I'm not here in Nova Scotia. That's
Mm-hmm.
how it's really. It's actually an issue. It's a problem in Atlantic, and also like even I remember when I went to the one of the hospitals in Kento, I
Mm-hmm.
had to wait for 5 hours. They're not
Mm-hmm.
gonna accommodate you until they see that you're dying. You
Exactly.
know what I mean? That's
Mm-hmm.
like they're going to accommodate like they have to do the triage.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
But for me, the fourth reason not to move to Nova Scotia or Atlantic is if you're really picky when it comes to choosing your career or your
Mm-hmm.
job. In Nova Scotia specifically, there are certain industries that are in demand.
If I'm trying to look for a job, right, for health and safety related jobs, I would see that one out west, right? But here in Nova Scotia, there's a limited jobs for that one, and sometimes they would look for those with 3 to 5 years experience. And for us, for our fresh graduate, you cannot just gain that one, right? So we just have to,
Unless they hire you. Come
unless they
on,
hire me, right?
the experience, right?
Yep. So they mostly, there's specific industries that they need a lot of workers.
For example, if you want to look at healthcare industry, then probably you will find jobs like work as a personal support worker or work as a nurse or work as let's say physiotherapy, something like that, like in healthcare sector or social services, right?
Yeah.
Again, some career would be limited in Atlantic. So if you're moving to Atlantic, you have to do your research first, do the job market research. That's what I do with my students actually. That before we pick the program, we have to double check if you're gonna get a job in that province. Again, your main goal is to get a job right away, right?
Yeah. So you
Otherwise,
have to do exactly. And here in the Atlantic is there's aging population here, so the demand for healthcare workers are still still in demand. And there's some industry here that fishing industry, manufacturing. There's a lot of industry here, but you have to identify before you move, right? So which industry do you just have an opportunities to the province that you are going to? So that's a good one.
Yeah. But how about you? What's your fifth reason not to move to Atlantic?
Other one is if you don't want to pay higher taxes. Higher taxes means that
That's true.
taxes here is 15%. So imagine,
You're talking
yep,
about GST, right?
yep. So if you're paying, for example, $100 worth of item, you have to pay plus taxes would be 115, right? Compare that one to other province. I think in Ontario is 13%,
Yes. Here
but
it's 12% in
12%.
5% in Alberta. I'm not
Yep.
sure in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, but pretty much in Atlantic, I think New Brunswick has 15% too.
Yeah. So we have one of the highest taxes here, but I mean, for me,
Not like when I was living there,
mhm.
I don't even notice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think the cost of living, especially the rents here, are
It's
cheaper,
low. So that's why.
right? I think the prices of food would be the same across Canada,
Yeah.
but the cost of living in terms of your rent, probably the electricity or the water services that you're paying, is a lot of cheaper here in the Atlantic. So that's another thing you can consider.
Okay, guys. So for all the reasons that we just discussed, not to move to Canada, or not to move to Canada. Antok na ako. Okay. For all the reasons that we have talked about, like not to move to Atlantic, are you still willing to, sacrifice those things? Comment down below
Yep.
and we're be going to answer your question if you have one. Thank you guys for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, Mark.
Bye.
Welcome, Mark and Pia, to SE Canada.
My first employer was a Filipino. He was a head chef